We're celebrating the 4th of July weekend. I'm Attorney Ben Crumpet, along with Attorney Lisa Park and Jared Preston and Camila Moore. We have the honor and the privilege of helping to lead an independent investigation on behalf of the family of Nolan Wells. Why do you say we need to be retained to lead an independent investigation? It is because the family has distrust of the Mississippi law enforcement officials giving them a fair investigation where their black son ended up dead after going out on a boat with 3 young white men. The history of Mississippi is something that they don't just read about in books, but it's a lived experience for many black Americans that oftentimes when our children are killed in highly questionable situations, that there is this notion that, oh, it was nothing wrong, no foul play, let's just sweep it under the rug. Well, we refuse to sweep it under the rug. We refuse to just let Nolan Wells' death be in vain. We're going to make sure that we get to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because Nolan deserves it. You're going to hear his mother and father talk about what a wonderful young man he was. I mean, doing everything right. Reverend Al, he was not only a college student, he was a great athlete. He was a model big brother for his brothers and little brothers and sisters, and he was a great son who was on the cusp of becoming a man. I mean, Christina Elmore did everything to prepare him for this moment. He was so close. He was right there. You're going to hear his father talk about him had a good football season last year, but this season he was really ready to go to the next level, to go to Division I. I mean, the highlights that you're seeing on social media of his athletic prowess, I mean, it is all relevant, because when you start talking about drowning, I mean, this is a kid who knew how to swim. This is a kid who was in tip-top shape. He was a superior athlete. And so I'm going to get to that in a moment, these glaring contradictions, but to try to say, oh, we're suggesting it was just an accident or drowning, go ahead and move on. Well, they are not accepting it. They are not accepting it. They want to know that you have not taken the path of least resistance, that you have done a full, complete, thorough, impartial investigation, because it cannot be lost on anybody, but especially us in the black community. If the roles were reversed and you had 3 young black men on a boat with a young white man, and that young white man ended up dead, what kind of investigation would be being conducted by the Mississippi law enforcement officials? How many times would those 3 young black men be interrogated? So all we're asking is the same consideration you would have given if the roles were reversed. Give that consideration to this family as well. That is our fight. The glaring contradictions just jump out at you. The fact that he is there with his friends, and you look at all the videos, it seems to be he's the only black on the island, or maybe one other, but not many. And so, Jared, you have, 'cause on the boat with the boys.
Locked off.
The boys say that Nolan told them he was going to stay and talk to the young woman. And it's a contradiction. They're not saying the same thing. One of them is telling the truth, one of them is not. We have to get to the bottom of that. It's important. And then the fact, Reverend Al, that
maybe they both is telling lies.
this video of an argument that is going on, and you know, thank God all young people, they have cell phones, and anytime you hear people raising their voice, they start the video. And so you hear on the video Nolan saying, "Give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?" And that becomes even more relevant when you think about the story that they presented, that Nolan chose to stay behind. That's what they're saying. But his phone, he wouldn't take that with him if he's going to stay behind on an island. I mean,
That don't make no kind of sense whatsoever.
Now to a story sparking outrage. 29-year-old Peter Bernardo Spencer, a Jamaican immigrant, was found fatally shot in the front lawn of a rural Pennsylvania cabin on December 12th, just hours after he was allegedly invited to the cabin by a white co-worker. Authorities say the Spencer was shot 9 times, and they're investigating his death as a homicide. There were allegedly 4 others at that cabin, including Spencer's co-worker, all of whom were white. Spencer's family says that 4 people were detained and questioned, but released after consultation with the county district attorney's office. And according to officials, now, more than 6 weeks later, there still have been no arrests and no charges. The district attorney's office told ABC News that it will not comment on the ongoing investigation, quote, out of concern for the impact that it may have on a case and any potential charges. And the Pennsylvania State Police also have not responded to ABC News' request for comment. We're joined now by Conrad Spencer, Peter's father, and family attorney, Paul Jubas. Mr. Spencer first.
Psalms 5 and 6 says Yahweh will destroy those who tell lies. Yahweh detests murderers and deceivers. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. And before you hear from Mr. Spencer's father, let me tell you a little bit about this case. This happened in 2022, where Peter Spencer, 29-year-old melanated Jamaican, was invited to a camping trip with his white co-worker and 3 of his white friends. While there, he ended up with 9 bullets in him, and no charges were ever found. And in the wake of the Nolan Wells situation, we keep reiterating the fact that you can't be the only one. I want you to listen to the father first before I play a video that's going to give you some of the intricate details on this guy was pretty much murdered.
I don't want it.
And the 4 white friends concocted a story nobody could disprove because Peter's dead. Just listen.
Let me say we're so very sorry for your loss, and we of course appreciate you both being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Spencer, I know. Thank you again for being with us. And Mr. Spencer, while I understand that many questions remain, can you tell us, to the best of your knowledge, what happened the night your son died?
I was wondering about that story, but I don't think this one has that story about.
I can't give an answer as to what happened that night. Other than the fact that his friend invited him at the evening. And what I am told, that friend invited other friends. That's the best of our knowledge, other than the fact that police were called to the scene and told and they in turn called us, the family, and tell us what happened.
Another black child who died on the 4th of July after hanging out with a group of white teammates. Dion Walton drowned in Alabama. Now, this is just coming out, and I'm getting ready to start my life, so I don't have a lot of time to do a full deep dive on the conversation. But I wanted to say these are not a coincidence. And we need to figure out what is going on exactly. Because if you ask me, things like this are starting to feel like they're on purpose. Now, I don't know all the details, but I'm definitely going to dig into them when I come back from my live. If you want to join in on the conversation, come join us. There we go.
Psalms 83 verses 3 and 5 says, they have taken crafty counsel against the people and consulted against thy hidden ones. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, all praises due to the Most High. And that scripture came to mind when I thought about all of these suspicious drowning and mysterious deaths of young black men in the presence of the Gentiles, as the scripture would say. This is another incident, drowning incident that happened in a southern town. You know, Alabama and Mississippi are right next to each other, but it happened on the same day that Noah Wells, quote unquote, drowned within the company of his white friends. Now, allegedly, this young man, Deion Walton, high school athlete standout, was with some white friends at a lake at one of the person's houses. And it is said that they tried to swim out to some type of thing, and he was struggling and he ended up drowning. Now I want you to watch this news video of his family explaining what happened. But keep in mind, this happened in Covington, Alabama. White population of 83%, black population of only 12%. And as Tariq Nasheed would say, when there's a majority of whiteness, they always get on code. Just watch this video.
Holiday quickly turning into a tragedy for a Covington County family who lost their loved one in a drowning just days ago on 4th of July. WBN's Robert Smith Jr. has the latest.
News coverage from Jason Lawson and John Walden turned after they were at the store getting food to put up for the holiday. When they got a frightening call from their nephew Deion Walton's football coach that he went missing in a community lake. He was like, hey, listen, where you guys are? Well, we just got a call from the grocery store. And he was like, you guys need to get here ASAP. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He was like, it's involved with Deion. They went to the community lake on Parkview Church Road in Covington County. But Walton was with some of his teammates celebrating the holiday. We said, all right, all the police were there, and we pulled into the driveway on the side of the house, and I saw the rescue squad. They were both divers searching out there, and I'm like, well, why are these people out here? And so she parked the car, and I ran to the dock quick, and I was like, well, one of the parents came up. I said, what's going on?
His family says they were told Walton and some friends jumped off the pier to the lake to see who could swim to a small island in the middle of the lake the fastest. But Deion struggled as he was cramping in the water